Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you are. This is Mr. Shakespeare again on Election Day on the 5th of November. Remember the 5th of November, 2024. I'm joined as usual by psychic medium and remote viewer, Liz Cross. How you doing today, Liz?
Oh, good. Thank you. How are you?
Super fine, smashing and dandy.
Well, that's amazing. I'm not in a swing state, so it really doesn't matter.
I'm not in any state, so it doesn't even matters less to me.
Well, you're
Right.
in a state of chaos. By the way, I have to call a couple of hits for us, Mr. Shakespeare. Remember the probe we did on Keir Starmer? And
Yep.
we said that he was going to go to war with the British farmers. He was going to take down the British farm industry. Well, lo and behold, look at what's happened.
Yeah. Well, the thing is with Starmer, he's not a leader, he's a manager, so he's been put in place to manage the downfall of the UK by the looks of it.
Mm.
Um,
So, for those of you outside of the UK, a new budget came out in the UK that basically punishes generational farmers, where now they're going to have to pay a percentage of inheritance tax. Bearing in mind, farmers don't really make a lot of money anyway. They are asset rich by the amount of land that they own, but financially, they're cash poor, most of them, or they're scraping by. So now, when the land is passed through to the generations, the UK government are now going to tax an inheritance tax on it. Well, what does that mean? Well, that means that these farmers who inherit the land can't come up with the cash for the tax. So what are they going to do? They're going to have to sell the farm. And we did not get exactly how he was going to demolish British farming, but that was certainly something that came through in our probe of Keir Starmer, was that he is going to have a war with the farmers. And that's exactly what's happening. So we got to call ourselves a hit on that one, Mr. Shakespeare. Well done.
mhm. Right,
What do you
let's go. Right, on to matters arising. Let's do this poly market.
have?
Well, we don't have a lot of time, Liz, so
No, I got to get my dad to the polls.
Right, so we got to concentrate on this, not on anything else, you know.
All
Right,
right. What would you like to
poly
know?
polymarket.com, please.
Oh, yeah, here we go. Polymarket. Polymarket.com. How far out?
1st of December, please.
Polymarket.com. Let's go December 1st, December 1st. Just giggling at me. 2024, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. What would you like to know?
Right. Excuse me. Right. On there, we can see five prices that the betters, the people who are putting money down, are trying to work out what it's going to be. Which one was correct? Did Bitcoin hit 90,000 or 85,000 or 80,000 or 77,500 or 75,000
Um,
or none of the above?
90, did Bitcoin hit 90,000? No. 85,000? No. 80,000? No. 77,500? Yes. Thereabouts. 75,000. It went over 75.
Okay, but did it go over 77 and a half?
Did it go over 77,500? It seems to touch 77.5. And then what happened? And then it goes down again.
Okay. All right. So at some point in November, there was a high point of around 77,500.
Yes, based upon quantum probabilities.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So let's have a look. Okay. I've just
Hmm.
updated this Zoom thing. I really don't like it.
I know they keep updating it. It makes it more difficult to use.
It
Wow.
is.
Look at all this stuff they have here. You can bet on anything.
Yeah, it's funny that, isn't it?
What color shirt is Liz Cross wearing today?
I bet green, red,
No.
blue,
Eh,
black.
blue.
There you go. Right. Put Polymarket out till the last day of the year, please.
Okay, December 31st, December 31st, 2024, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. What would you like to know?
Did Ethereum hit $10,000? Betting market is saying no by the looks of it. But did Ethereum hit $10,000 in 2024?
Did Ethereum hit 10,000 US dollars in 2024? No,
Okay. So this is just a taster, really. So that
this is awesome because it like basically outlines the questions for us.
yes, I know, I know. Let's do something else. Can't seem to get this to move down.
Bitcoin above $70,000 on what was that? The 8th of November? Well,
Yeah, well, yeah, okay. Well, I mean, we know it goes above 70 at some point in the month. So, I mean, and we're only days away from the 8th, so it's almost let's do this one though. Right. As you're out at the end of the month, at the end of the year, did Bitcoin hit $100,000 in 2024?
did Bitcoin hit 100,000 US dollars by the end of 2024? No.
Right. So the betting market are saying basically most people are saying no, it won't. There's an 84% of people saying no, it won't. 17% people saying it will. So at the moment, which is always good to know. Right.
Will it hit $80,000 by the end of the year? Will Bitcoin hit 80,000 US dollars by the end of the year? I think it's a strong possibility of it hitting 80,000 by the end of the year.
Right. Okay.
And that's a hell of a climb if you think that we were only hovering around in the 20s towards the beginning of the year, if you remember.
Hmm. Right, let's just click on different things. I'm just doing this so people can see, like the betting market and how much money is involved and what people are doing and why is that done that.
Mm-hmm.
In coins. Okay, let's do this one. I don't even know about all these meme coins, but right. So first Trump coin to 1 billion by the end of the year, if any of them. So the okay, so as we can see, the betting market is strongly saying that none of them will hit 1 billion market cap. Does any of the Trump, Tremp, or MAGA, or any other Trump meme coin hit 1 billion in market cap in 2024?
Hmm.
You've got Trump, Tremp, MAGA, and the other ones, which are whatever they are. So it'll be anything other than those three. Or is the answer none of them?
Hmm. Um, so which one will hit? And it's a 1 billion market cap?
Yeah.
Well, the first one hit. And when is the date on this?
Where you're at the last day of the month of the year.
Okay. Will Trump, this coin hit $1 billion market cap by the end of the year? So the first one, no. Trump, will it hit $1 billion? No. No, 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 no. Will MAGA hit $1 billion market cap by the end of the year? I'm getting a no, but it definitely goes in an upward trajectory.
Right.
What's the other?
Don't know. I don't know which of the other ones. Oh, hold on. Let's have a look. Can't get. Why won't it scroll down? I
None?
think you can
Did
just,
any of these
they're, I think they're unnamed coins, but I think the point is it's not Trump, it's not Trump, and it's not MAGA. So if any of the other Trump meme coins, um, none of which I have any idea who they are, if they've got there. So I think that's what we're talking about here. Okay. All let's find some other one. This is just really a taster of how some of these things work.
Mm-hmm.
Not meant to be a. Okay, let's bring Polymarket back till the 12th of November.
Okay. So November 12th, 2024, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. What would you like to know?
Did did Solana go above $170 by November, on or before November the 8th? So in 3 days' time.
Did Solana go above $170 on or before November the 8th? Yes.
It did. Ooh,
Yes.
that's interesting. Okay, we're going to switch a little bit now. So Richard Hart had his hearing with the SEC on the end of October, and there was a bunch of people, more than 75 hexagons showed up to show their support, and uh, we've got to get this woman here, Judge Carol Bagley, along. I think we have probed her before, actually. So she's a federal judge. She does have experience with crypto cases, so probably why she's been picked. So
Mhm.
can we grab Judge Carol Bagley Amon, please?
Yes, absolutely. I have her here. What would you like to know?
So what's her initial thoughts after the hearing, the SEC versus Richard Hart? Does she have any initial conclusions or
Do you have
thoughts?
any initial conclusions for the Richard Hart case? Other than it needs to go to trial.
Is it going to go to trial in its entirety, or is she going to strike anything out?
You're gonna allow it to go to, do you want it to go to trial in its entire? No, there's only like one or two issues that need to go to trial.
Okay, is she going to strike out the other, whatever these other issues are?
Are you gonna strike out whatever these other issues? They've already been struck out.
Oh, they have. Okay.
Mhm.
Will she hold it to her account? Will she be the presiding judge if it goes to trial?
Will you be the presiding judge if it goes to trial? She doesn't think so, no.
Right. Okay. Right.
This is like the preliminary.
Yeah. Oh, I know. Yeah. Oh, I know. It's not.
Okay.
All right. What do we
Oh,
need to
wow,
do?
look at all those supporters.
Yeah, they all flew in. I mean, it's in trial. Some of them flew in from all around the world. So, right. Okay. We got to do this guy, Michael Liftick.
Pulse Chain actually made a bit of a lyric, and not that you would know this, Mr. Shakespeare, but in a very popular rap group in the UK at the moment. And I was surprised because so my kid was watching the video. Well, and I saw, did they just say Pulse Chain in the comment section? I went back and they do say Pulse Chain. So, yeah, it's not just something that's just sitting quietly. And that's today's bit of useless information.
Awesome.
Oh, goodness.
Okay, this is Michael Liftick. He's the lead counsel, I believe, representing Richard Hart on part of Queen Emmanuel trial lawyers. So these are this guy, I think, yes, he's one of the two that basically have been putting the arguments and everything. So let's grab him, please, Liz.
Okay, I have him. He's a very busy man.
Of course. How does he think the hearing the other day in front of Judge Amon went, Richard Hart and the SEC?
How do you think the hearing went for Richard Hart the other day? It was fairly good. He says the SEC don't have a leg to stand on. It's just
No,
they're grasping.
of course.
Um, do you think they're going to win? There's no way it can be defined. They're trying to so okay, this is interesting. They're now trying to change the definition of what constitutes a security.
Okay. That's a bit after the whole horse has bolted, isn't it? I mean, they're just scratching around. I mean, this is lawfare. This is exactly what they've done to Trump. The indictment is the punishment, if you like. I mean, we know they don't like this guy. So okay, let's push him out. Um, let's push him out 60 days. So what would that be? The 5th of Jan? No, December. January?
Yeah,
Is that right?
about the 5th of January.
No, I don't think that's long enough. No, 5th of December, 5th of December, January. Yeah, okay. All right. Well, no, put him out to the 30th of January next year, please.
The 5th of January. So put him out January 5th, 2025, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. What would you like to know?
So has Judge Amon, rather, has she made her ruling yet on the SEC versus Richard Hart case?
Um, have you, has she made a ruling on the Richard Hart case? No, he doesn't anticipate that being over for a long time, at least the middle of next year, unless it gets thrown out of court, which they don't want to do. They want to try and make an example out of Richard Hart.
No, yeah, I mean, there's rulings. So has it gone to trial then? Has it already gone to trial?
Has it gone to trial? No, there was a motion. What was the motion? There's a delay.
Okay, they tried to have the jurisdiction issue, quashed, because I mean, Richard Hart hasn't lived in the US for 20 years, and he certainly didn't launch anything in the US. Did that argument hold water with the judge, or did the judge rule that they have jurisdiction?
Did that, sorry, repeat that question.
One of the motions that Liftick put through and the other co-counsel was that the SEC don't have jurisdiction over this. Richard Hart, although he's an American, hasn't lived in America for like 20 years. I mean, he currently lives in Finland. And certainly when he launched all of this, he was not in America and he was not targeting Americans specifically. He wasn't targeting anybody, like anybody and everyone, if you like. So one of their arguments is that the courts don't actually have jurisdiction over this, and nor does the SEC. Now, of course, so I mean, we know this is a bit political, so that things like, the subtleties of law don't seem to matter. But what happened with that point? Because they were making that point. So in other words, did the judge rule against either itself or the SEC having any jurisdiction, or did it say no, or the SEC do have jurisdiction?
Did the judge say that the SEC, oh yeah, they have jurisdiction. Yes, they do.
Right. Okay. That means it'll carry on going forward then. Right. Okay. Let's be crazy and put him out. Where are we now? The end of January. Let's put him out another year, January 30th, 2026.
January 30th, 2026, 2026, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Okay.
Um, what has happened with the Richard Hart SEC case? Has there been a ruling?
The Richard Hart SEC case. Has there been a ruling? Yeah, it's over.
What was the
And what
outcome?
was the outcome? Denied. What was denied? The SEC were denied. I don't know why he's saying denied. What do you mean?
Well, they're making the motion. They're saying they're bringing the suit. They're bringing the case. So Richard Hart is the defendant. They're the plaintiff. So they're bringing the case. And if it's been denied, that means that, in other words, what the SEC are saying has been kicked out. Yeah. Is that right?
Is that right? That what the SEC were saying? Yeah, they had no grounds.
So Richard Hart won the case.
Did Richard Hart win the case? Ultimately, yes. But I mean, I think the lawyer is looking at it like, yes, ultimately he did win, but he's a changed man forever,
Oh, I
right?
bet of course he is. Yeah. Yeah. Does
And
he
I think
happen?
he'll
Does
go
he?
quietly. I
Sorry?
think he's saying that, he realizes that he made a big mistake putting his name out there, not being anonymous.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Okay. Um, yeah, well, obviously, I mean, he's had the full force of the US government after him via the agency of the SEC. So, that's not, as I say, when governments turn on you, then, you certainly know about it. Um, has he any interest or kept up with pricing of any of the hex coins or hex itself?
have you kept up with the pricing of the hex coins themselves? No, no, he really is not into all that. He doesn't
No,
really.
no,
Mm-mm.
no, that's fair enough. That's fair enough. Okay, well, when did it get resolved? When in 2025 did it get resolved?
When in 2025 did it get resolved? Around July.
Right, okay. That's all right. We don't need to be any more precise for that. That's good.
Well, this is all quantum probability, right? When we do these future self that far out, it's the most likely outcome.
Hmm.
But yeah, it looks like, but it's changed Richard Hart forever. Do
Of
you think
course.
he's going to continue on? No, like he's a changed man. It's almost like it's going to take him a while to even get over the shock and the trauma of it all.
Of course.
Um, and to process it all, that what I'm getting from Richard Hart is, that the world doesn't want you to be successful, which is totally different to what he always thought. He always thought that, people would want him to be successful, that most people are not, jealous or like, man, do you not realize how many people hate the big wigs at the top? Um, and he's learned that. Are you thinking of like getting out of crypto after this? No, no, he's not, but it's going to take him a while.
So, yeah, I mean, okay. So I've got a few more questions. Firstly, for Liftic, has he had to represent any other crypto organization or coin or anything in the last year or so? In the last year?
If you had to represent any other coin or team or organization crypto in the last year. Yes.
Has the SEC had a change of emphasis under the new administration? I mean, are they? The problem is that Richard Hart he launched his coin basically in a quasi-communist administration with Biden and et al. So, I mean, in under the new administration, has there been a change of emphasis? I mean, is it more crypto friendly now than it was?
Is it crypto friendly now? It's getting there. Have they changed Gary Gensler out of the SEC? Is Gary Gensler going to be changed out? I feel like he's going to be shoved out.
Oh yeah, well, that's a good thing. Hmm. But I mean, does he is the wind blowing more favorably now for cryptos, would he say?
Would you say that the wind is blowing more favorably? Oh, absolutely. Certainly different from what it was a couple of years ago. Yes.
Right, okay. That's really what we wanted to hear. So, because I mean, cryptos have never really had a hard time apart from these last 4 years, which we've been in a bear market. That's funny that whilst the Biden regime's been in, we've pretty much been in a bear market the whole time. Because they're very anti-cryptos. They're anti-freedom of money. They don't want people to have any kind of freedom. So what Richard Hart has experienced is just that magnified. And of course, he was the grounding rod for a lot of because of the way he chose to do his marketing, which of course was very flamboyant, buying this, doing that, wearing all sorts of designer clothes that he wouldn't ordinarily have worn. But I mean, he did it to appeal to a certain demographic, and I think I mean, older people didn't really take much notice of it, but younger people, I think, did. So in a way that, Michael Liftic will wear a very nice, expensive suit, because that's the kind of environment that he operates in. Well, cryptos are mainly young. It's the younger generations that are mainly involved in those. So, okay, right.
Yes,
So,
but here's the problem. They don't like not being able to track your money. That's
well,
what I just got. That's the whole issue.
but
It's
that's
the
the crazy
tracking of
thing.
the money.
Cryptos are one of the most trackable things on the planet. Blockchain is trackable. I mean, you can't.
It's trackable, yes, but there has to be, so what I'm getting is like they want a system in place. It has to do more of when you're putting money in and really when you're pulling money out. They want to make sure that when you're pulling the money out, right, there's a trace of that somewhere. Now, yes, okay, it's trackable in a blockchain, but the government really doesn't have many systems in place that are sitting there reporting who's who in the blockchain, right?
Right.
That's the problem.
Okay, but I mean, let's take a scenario where you bought a coin for 0 point, let's say 5 zeros, and you spent $1,000 on that, and then that coin went to 10 cents, you've got X amount lift. Even if it took 2 years, you can see that. You can see that I spent $1,000 on that, on one day, and then 2 years later, I sold it a horrendous profit. And I didn't do anything. I just left it there. They're one of the easiest things to trace on the blockchain. Where did I get my $1,000 from? Well, okay, I can tell you where I got that from, and now look at it. I've turned it into whatever the price is.
Yeah, but the government doesn't have the ability to track and trace every transaction, which is why they put the onus on the banks and the financial institutions. But even crypto can somewhat circumvent those institutions. And you could be pulling, what I'm getting is you could pull cash out in other countries unbeknownst to the government, your local government, and therefore they're thinking in terms of, okay, we're out of money. We should have made a profit. They're wanting to profit off of your profit, right?
Right. But I
And
mean, again, they never had the systems in place for the fiat-based money system. They had to put them in. As we are going digital with currencies, and I don't mean central bank digital currencies, but just digital currencies or representations anyway. Why doesn't the government just spend a bit of money and time, and instead of trying to fight it, embrace it, and then put in the checks and balances and everything else, you know?
But because they want that's too much for them. They're putting the onus on the financial institutions, is what I'm getting. That's
Well,
what they have to do. But because crypto people can circumvent these financial institutions, also it's movable, right? So you can move things around in different wallets, different blockchains, all major transactions that are being made, even if they're being made across the globe with financial institutions, those are all tracked, traced, and reported, right?
right,
Right.
but I mean, if I put something into a wallet here and then I get on a plane and I, take it out in New Zealand and then put it into another wallet and then go to New York or something, again, that's trackable and traceable quicker than it takes me to fly to all those places. Because chains, you take it out of one chain and put it into another, you can see that, you know, and then you just follow that chain. I mean, I'm not saying it's the easiest thing, and I'm not saying there probably are automatic, because there are very specialist chain investigation services that operate that can do all of this, you know. Now, is it mainstream? No. Can everybody have access to it? Well, if you've got the money and you can afford it, and yes. So, I mean, this is nascent technology, isn't it? It's still relatively new, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's no different in a way than Swift. Swift is a messaging system. It's not a payment system, it's a messaging system. But because we live in the fiat world, the so be it. Bank A sends a message to Bank B that, Mr. Shakespeare has sent $1,000, to this account. Well, nobody carries $1,000 from a bank to a bank. They just, at the end of the day, debit one account and make a paper or a computer entry on the other account at the other end. I mean, it's no real difference. Just that blockchain, you don't have to do all of that. And it's a lot quicker. Some of the Swift entries can take, if you send it from midtown nowhere in America to Azerbaijan, it can take 2 weeks because it has to go through so many banks and so many messaging systems to get there. Whereas on the blockchain, it's pretty much instant. You
Hmm.
know,
Yeah. No,
Then
I
of course there,
understand.
then of course there are all the fees that everybody charges for sending them through the multiple. You know, again using the example of from Midtown nowhere to Azerbaijan. You know what I mean? Which takes 2 weeks. That could go through four banks. All of which want a fee for it. So suddenly transmitting money starts becoming very expensive. You know,
It's
it's
definitely easier to wire money from the UK than it is here,
Yes,
right?
because we've got every bank in the UK on our ACH automatic clearinghouse system. And so it's
Um,
pretty much instant for every bank that's on that system. Unfortunately, America has not. They still have, different systems within the continental US. And again, once you have a different system, look at it like a different chain, then there has to be somebody who goes, all right, I've got something coming in on this chain from Mr. Shakespeare, but it has to go back on that chain, that message to Liz Cross, you know? And all that takes time. And they have to have people employed, banks have to have people employed to do all this. And that's all they do all day, messaging, you know?
hmm. Okay.
Yeah. Anyway.
I'm glad you get it. Clear as mud. Does that mean you're sending me money?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sending it to you to your account in Azerbaijan.
Oh, wherever that is.
Exactly. See, you don't even know where it is. Oh dear. Awesome. Right. Okay. Well, I think we've covered what I wanted to just go through quickly. So this is a collated video that hopefully Liz will put up for public consumption that all you good people out there can have a look at and watch it. Thank you.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, brilliant. I'm going to go drive my dad to the polls now. Thank you so much.